During the next 15 minutes, I will cover a little bit about some of the activities in Europe, which are some of the potential big users of the connections to Asia and elsewhere. And I think much of that already was nicely um, prepared from the previous talks, but there are some other aspects I would like to add here. So a couple of years ago in Europe, there was a lot of concern about Europe lacking behind in terms of high-end data and computing resources, and that actually created the need to do something in order to be competitive again. And an initiative called Euro HPC was born. And today, most of the European countries, the ones you see here in the bluish color and also the dark gray, are involved in the Euro HPC consortium, which works together in order to make this European capacity in a competitive stage again. Of course, it's not only computing capacities, everything related to that in infrastructure like data, competence development, training, education, and also very important part of it is networks around in Europe and outside Europe. And as a result of this Euro HPC, there are large investments to these computing infrastructures. Last year, there were first of all, there was a joint undertaking established between these countries and European Union, and last year there were a number of procurements for computing systems, where we ended up. Eventually, there will be three large consortiums, large installations. We call it pre-exascale, so systems, and then the number of five European systems called petascale systems. So eight environments all together, and one of them is LUMI. And LUMI is a bit special also because of it's a consortium of 10 countries. It's not only a Finnish consortium, of course, it's 10 countries. So we are coordinating it, but all the Nordic countries are involved, as also Switzerland, Belgium, Czech Republic, Poland, and Estonia. And all these countries, they invest together to one single huge environment, which will be placed in Kajaani. And you saw from Arius's last slide the map of Finland, and Kajaani was pointed out there, as it's also here in this map. And but I would like to highlight this. It's only one of the three large consortiums in Europe which are intending and going to work together. But LUMI has also the other ones in Spain and Italy, as well as the five smaller installations. They will all serve the whole Europe. So the data connections, for example, to Asia, it's not only a case of the Northern Europe, but it's for the whole Europe, as we also heard it's part of the networking development, more in larger networking development, including also things like Southern Europe networks. We heard from our Portuguese colleagues, and also the other ones presented by Arius. Okay, so that's about a little bit about the background. The LUMI itself is an investment of 202 million euros, and half of it paid by Commission, and actually half of the resources also will be used for the European science, and the other half for the consortium partners. The procurement last year went, I would say, extremely well. It ended up here in the north that there will be one of the major systems in the world, globally. So that actually brings it in the quite different level than we used to be. I mean, this will be one of the largest systems when we think about the whole globe, and that also allows a lot of possibilities for collaboration in research and innovation, for example. And this once again puts more emphasis in the networking capabilities. At the moment, by the way, the most powerful system in the world is placed in Japan. In Japan, it's called Fugaku. It's placed in Japan. It's about the same size today than this LUMI will be when it's available at end of this year. So the time schedule is that something comes now in the spring, but most of the system they come in the November, December timeframe and will be available then afterwards. So there is also an additional collaboration possibilities for the researchers in Europe and in Japan, and they use using the Arctic Connect in the future for the environments working together in these high-end computing tools. Okay, so the importance here, and one of the messages here, that even though high-end computing in the future, it's an area which is crucial. I mean, we are solving all kind of well, this is a tool to solve world-class scientific breakthrough problems. Uh, COVID vaccination, for example, is one of the examples where you heavily have been using high-end computing. You have application areas in many disciplines and domains, like today the climate models, earth sciences is very much using high-end computing. Artificial intelligence capabilities are coming more stronger in the future, and so on and so on. So the application area is large, but the very important thing is to note that in addition, the science is global. It's not limited to Europe, so we need to be able to collaborate with our colleagues outside European borders. Data intensive computing. So when we are talking about high-end computing, we are also talking about data. So of course, so I think some of the very early definitions of a supercomputer is that supercomputer is a device which converts the computational problems to data problems. So that's very true in the sense that of course we need to be able to move data close to the computing, and sometimes computing close to the data. But so that puts further needs for these networks, and of course also by investing in Arctic Cable, for example, we are making this. We are enabling the data driven science and also data economy in Europe, and actually a target to make a Europe central data hub globally. So that requires heavy capacity. A few more points about which already were partly discussed. So Arctic Cable, and here it is. It's a picture about the FUNET network, the Finnish network, which is then of course hooked to Nordunet and Geant to European network from there, and so on. So in the Nordics, when we are talking about now, for example, enabling a separate pair of cable, okay. Um, we enabling connectivity for the research, for example. So then we are in a quite good situation from that point of view, even though there is a need for building cables, as you saw from Marius's presentation, for example, through Finland and from there to Nordics, and also inside Nordics. In the research and education network, FUNET, and as well as also Nordunet, the capacity is at the moment pretty much up to date, and the investments have been made already during recent years. Some of the building in FUNET is still happening, but that's already funded. So the network in the research and education side is very much up to date. So that also makes it much more easier to utilize the connections overseas efficiently. So locally the situation is good, even though there is a need for additional routes too. So and to a little bit wrap up this short interview, short introduction to the topic, I would say that something you will in the future you will hear more about LUMI, of course, and Euro HPC, because the capacities will be in most of these centers. While they are being installed at the moment, or at least during this year, they will be taken in most cases into operation. So that will be a common topic for the European collaboration in the future also, and also for a global collaboration. But a little bit to summarize, First of all, the Arctic Connect basic infrastructure for research and education, it's crucial. I mean, this is something we need to do in order to make sure that our researchers and innovation can be competitive. So we need to have highways to Asia in this case, and US, of course, with a low latency. And it is also because it's long-term investment. That means that in next 10 years or more, there is an influence. And I mean, we need to have a cost-efficient way to scale the networking beyond what we are imagining today. Because even though we have different scenarios, I think none of us can really say for sure what's happening in 10 years. But I think all of us can say for sure that whatever is happening, it will require much more network bandwidth than we have today. So this is an investment for the future, and that is something that is very crucial from the European competitiveness. So I finished this with the presentation with the slide, still pointing out um, what will the Arctic Connect together with Lumi and other similar initiatives in Europe enable. So of course uh, we will be able to collaborate much more intensively with our counterparts outside Europe in terms of high-end computing and data. And of course there are a number of potential specific international collaborations. Here are some of the examples. I mean, the climate change, of course, is one area where there are a lot of global collaboration, but it's not limited to that only. I think that is mostly happening. It's happening in most of the scientific areas where there are major scientific problems to be solved. Um, the the way we want to do is to support the open collaborative ways of producing and sharing data. In order to share data and move data, of course, the networking is extremely important. And also this, even though I was referring many times in the research side, this is also the technology transfer and the contacting connecting research with the innovation and companies is one area where also the capacity is required. So with these words, thank you very much for the opportunity to present this topic, Lumi, together with Arctic Connect, and thank you very much.